And we are back. And we just finished watching The Illusionist by director Neil Berger. This has a screenplay by Neil Berger and is based on the short story Eisenheim the Illusionist by Steven Millhauser. This came out in 2006 and is rated PG-13 with a runtime of 1 hour and 50 minutes. This is currently streaming on several platforms: Hulu, Prime Video, AMC Plus, Fawesome, Peacock, Plex, Pluto TV, the CW, Roku TV. However, we saw this on the Hoopla app. This is the story, according to IMDb. In turn of the century Vienna, a magician uses his abilities to secure the love of a woman far above his social standing. This came out the same year as Nolan's The Prestige, which we're going to pair this with. However, I think the other one, because it's a Nolan film, gets a little bit more recognition than stuff. However, this is a completely different film. This is more of a mystery / romance, and there's definitely this dreamlike quality to it thanks to the cinematography, which is very much almost romantic and almost like its own entity within the film. There's a specific look, there's a specific color palette to this. It is filmed in the Czech Republic and is supposed to be reminiscent of early 1900s Austria, which is when the story takes place.
It's very similar to like how old films were filmed.
Yes.
Just as you mentioned, the color palette, but also like the transitions. Like there was a lot of pinhole.
Yes.
Whatever
and like specific kind of wipe that was
like a pinhole
reminiscent.
wipe. Yeah, everything would just like zoom in on like a small dot, and you don't see that at all anymore. So that is very reminiscent of almost like silent movies.
Yes. According to IMDb, this is tagged as period drama, psychological thriller, supernatural fantasy, suspense, mystery, drama, fantasy, mystery, romance, and thriller, which I think it has a little bit of all of that.
Yeah.
This is not our first time watching this. We actually saw that in the theater. We saw both of those in the theater, didn't we?
Yeah.
Illusionist and Prestige.
Back in the day when we could freely go to the movies every weekend.
Yes. That's right. So what are your thoughts? I mean, I know that we liked this originally when we saw it, but does it hold up now almost 20 years later? Can you believe it?
I mean, yeah, I still like this movie. I would probably say Prestige is still my favorite if we're comparing the two, which kind of is an unnecessary comparison considering the plots of these films are very different. It's just that they're both period pieces that deal with magicians. But as far as this goes, as far as making a romance movie interesting, this certainly did it. Everybody's performance is great. I like how, from what I understand, the original story was just sort of like a character piece.
Right.
There was no romance. There was no political intrigue with the Crown Prince.
Right.
It was pretty much just
Eisenheim.
It was just about this mysterious dude named Eisenheim who eventually becomes an illusion himself.
Which is also a great name for an illusionist, Eisenheim. There's something
there's something strange and like mysterious yet scientific about it.
Yes.
But I mean, I've never read the story, but the little bits that I know about it, you could see how it was echoed in this, especially towards the big finale with Eisenheim's last performance, how he becomes an illusion on stage, like when Paul Giamatti's hand just goes right through him.
Yeah.
I really did like this. I like the way that it was structured. Nothing felt forced. Nothing felt weird. Nothing felt like ham-fisted and thrown in. They don't go into any real explanation as to how any of Eisenheim's illusions work, which I guess if you're comparing it to The Prestige is a big departure because they do go into a lot of how the illusions work in that movie. In this one, you don't really know. Is what Eisenheim doing actual magic? It could be, or it could just all be an illusion. Some things have explanations, but some things it's like there's no way he would be able to set up that illusion given the time constraints that he had and where he was. Like the thing with the sword and the Crown Prince, or just the end with like remember the bit with the little boy coming in off the street.
Right.
Yeah, there's no way you could do that.
You know, it's funny that you mentioned that. I felt like in this film more than the other one, because I think, again, they're very different stories. I mean, to me, The Prestige is about obsession and being the best and like one-upmanship between these two guys.
Well, getting consumed by that
and
obsession.
Getting consumed. Sure. Here, I felt like Edward/Eisenheim uses magic as a way of rising above his station. He is the son of a carpenter or something.
Yeah, his dad built the cabinets for the
in her house,
for the royalty,
and that's how he met her as a young kid. And so back in that time, if you were born in a higher social class, there was no way that you were going to marry the carpenter's son. However, these two young kids find each other and genuinely and innocently fall in love. And I felt like after the attempted escape where she says, "Make us disappear," and you see him genuinely trying, it was the sweetest thing, because I think at that point he's so innocent. He really thinks that if I wish hard enough, I'll make us disappear, but that's not how the world works.
Yeah.
So then he goes off into the world to become this grand illusionist, and he comes back. However, I always got the impression that he understood that these were just illusions. They weren't real. And that he could sell them, although he wasn't really this great showman like the great Anton is in the Prestige. He was just about showing you, but also storytelling, because when he does his act, there's storytelling involved, right?
Yeah.
And he talks about deep things. And I felt like his artistry in the world of magic was also concurrent with his resistance of the way the world was and his voice of resistance in highlighting the unfairness, because you mentioned the sequence with the sword and the prince. He embarrassed the prince.
Yeah.
And this was his way of doing it in a sort of hidden, although not terribly hidden way.
It wasn't a terribly hit. Yeah, I kind of feel in that moment he may have let his emotions get the better of him, but it's funny, he never shows it.
No, he's very stoic throughout.
Yes, like Edward Norton, the way he performs the character, he is
really good.
He never smirks. He never sort of like rolls his eyes or anything like that, or even looks at the Crown Prince in a way that is like, "I hate you."
He might be thinking it, but
he
you
might
would
be
never
thinking
know.
it. Yeah, but you wouldn't know from their interactions. Whereas Rufus Sewell, he's not really good at hiding his his feelings and the fact that he knows he's been embarrassed by this.
Right.
And everybody knows. And even afterwards, when Eisenheim's manager confronts him, he's like, "What the hell did you do?" Eisenheim he feigns innocence.
Right.
Even though he knows exactly
he
what he did.
He knows exactly what he did.
You
yes.
know
but
damn
he is
well
a
what
master.
you did.
He knows exactly what he did, but he is a master of illusion.
Yeah.
So in that respect, I feel like he uses magic to circumvent certain situations, and in this case, to help Sophie. Once she comes to him, I think we can spoil this film. It's almost 20 years old. Once she comes to him and he's aware of her situation, he never stopped loving her, obviously. So he now is completely committed to this plan. And you don't really know about it until the very end when it all comes out and you kind of see Paul Giamatti's Ool's character kind of figure it out at the end. And so she's also on board because A, she still loves Edward, and B, she is in a very terrible situation.
And we know from the commentary of other people that the Crown Prince is not very kind to
his lady friends.
Yeah, especially his lady friends. So those who embarrass or, I guess, betray him.
Yes. And also, I think we've mentioned before, in this time, women are property.
Yeah, you're basically a tool to make a strong marriage. And that's what she was. He needed to marry her to unify his forces to Austria so that he can go ahead with his overthrow of his own father.
And he couldn't care less about her. You never get a sense that he loves her or that he even likes her. She's just a means to an end.
Yeah, she's basically property. It's fortunate that she's attractive.
Right.
Because he would have done it anyway, even if she was like just hideous or something like that.
Right.
But of course, she's was it Jessica Biel?
Jessica Biel, yes.
Yeah, she's Jessica Biel. She's very attractive.
Yes. So again, I feel like the themes about class and power here, the prince has the power and there's the different classes. Edward was born into a lower class. Sophie was born into an upper class, and those two will never meet.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's social etiquette, there's societal barriers that prevent them from being together. So they ultimately have to hatch this plan and enact this plan in order to get Sophie out from under the Crown Prince's thumb. Because like she said to him, it doesn't matter where we go, he'll find us and he'll kill us.
Right.
So what did you think of the Paul Giamatti character, Inspector Uhl?
I mean, you got to love Paul Giamatti.
Always.
He's great in every role he's in. He's fantastic in this. He plays that guy he's kind of riding on a line. He has to be loyal to the Crown Prince, but he also is a moral man who knows what's going on, and also he's an admirer of Eisenheim. He likes Eisenheim. He doesn't want to raid his studio or arrest him or anything like that.
And he tells him that.
He tells him, he tells him that, I think, on more than one occasion. But he's in a tough spot because, as you keep mentioning the whole class thing, he is in a position where he could rise above his class. He says, I'm the son of a butcher. But yet, if I remain loyal to the Crown Prince, I could end up being the mayor of Vienna. And that's a huge jump up. But to do that, he would have to go along with this. And as I mentioned, he is a moral man. And even despite the fact that he's not supposed to be doing things, he is. Like when he's in that barn, his subordinate is like, we're not supposed to be here.
Right.
We're not supposed to be here. And he's just looking around. He shouldn't be looking around, but he is. And he spots something, he lets it go, but it plays a part later on.
Right.
And he returns. And at the very end, he is there, basically telling the Crown Prince, yeah, this is happening now.
I agree with everything you said. I feel like Inspector Uhl, played magnificently by Paul Giamatti, has a really interesting arc in the story. He starts out as the loyal servant of the Crown Prince. He's intelligent, but he maintains this order for the prince, right, in order to curry favor in a very corrupt environment, because obviously the Crown Prince is not a good person.
You don't want to get on the wrong side of that guy.
But yes, he understands that I serve this guy, he is the boss, and I'm basically here to serve him. And as the story progresses, he becomes more intrigued and starts to your point too, admire Eisenheim, because Eisenheim is a reflection of the ideal. Here's a guy with morals who does good, is good. He is an intelligent man, and in any other circumstance, the two of them could have possibly been friends, right?
Yeah, and even in that first meeting, because it starts out adversarial.
Right.
He's there inspecting the theater. He's basically intruding on Eisenheim's area where he's preparing for his show. And when he announces what his purpose is there, he's there because he has to make sure everything's secure, because the Crown Prince is going to come view the show that night.
Mm-hmm.
Eisenheim doesn't be all, oh, how dare you? He realizes, okay, this is just a guy doing his job.
Right.
I could respect that.
Right. And
he gifts him with the ability to do that trick with the ball.
Right.
And he's like, yeah, you can keep that. Don't worry about it.
Right. Which I think is the beginning of
their admiration for one another.
Of understanding that, you know what, this isn't a bad guy.
Yeah.
And then at the end, you see, like what you mentioned before, the little boy who gives him that package, and in the package is a notebook which contains the notes of the orange tree trick, which he was so intrigued about. He was super curious, and it was one of those things that he wanted to know. And it was funny because that notebook comes into play earlier during the investigation, because like you mentioned,
he used it as like a lure. Eisenheim used it as a lure because he knew
he was going to open it.
He knew Uhl's, out of everything in that workshop, that was the one thing Uhl's would focus on and say, oh boy, there it is.
Yeah. Let me just take a
quick gander at that. And like the way Giamatti portrays that moment it's great, because it's sort of like, it's almost, he's like, oh no, I'm just going to look at it. I'm not supposed to look at this, but I'm going to look at it anyway. He does so many good little subtle things. Yeah, he's an awesome character actor.
He is an awesome character actor. I love him in everything. Yeah.
Yeah. And more, because he could be a lead. He's
absolutely. He has been.
Yeah, he has been. He's done it. He's done it all. He was great in the left. What was it? The Holdovers.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, he was
He was
fantastic
so-
in that.
He was so crabby.
Yeah, wonderful in that. So many movies.
Yeah. Such a
And even like goofball nonsense like
Verizon commercials.
Well, Verizon commercial, yeah, he does those. That's a nice little
Little
that helps pay the mortgage.
Yeah.
But like stuff like Shoot 'Em Up. He was in Shoot 'Em Up. He was in
We saw him in that 30 coins.
He was in 30 coins,
Yes.
right. It was like, what are you doing on a
here?
Spanish language horror show? That was
yes.
just weird.
Yes,
and it's just he nails it.
Yes, yes.
He just always nails it.
Apparently he did a voice on Rick and Morty.
I wouldn't be surprised. He has a great voice.
Story Lord.
That's right. He was the Story Lord. Yeah, Paul Giamatti's awesome.
Yeah. But anyway, getting back to this, sorry. So I think he has a really interesting story arc. Actually, all the characters do. I mean, if we look at Duchess Sophie, played by Jessica Biel, her subtlety is understated, but it lends well with this time period because obviously women they're not aggressive, but she understands her place within the hierarchy of things. And she understands that she is basically there to be bartered
Yeah.
into this arranged marriage, which she genuinely wants no part of, but she has no other escape. So she goes to see Edward that night, probably with the intention to be intimate with him more than anything because she still loved him even after all this time, which she proves when he sees the necklace. He was like, oh, you still have that.
Yeah.
But I think that when she comes clean to him and basically says to him that she's stuck between a rock and a hard place, he then takes it upon himself to think about how they're going to get out of this situation. And his plan is pretty masterful.
Yeah.
And so there is a sequence in which she meets her demise. And you feel bad for her because here's this woman who, I mean, she just wants to be with Edward, right? Even as a young girl, that's all she ever wanted. She just wanted to be with Edward. She loved Edward, but she was born into this
Like a gilded cage.
exactly, into the situation where she wasn't going to have a happy life, especially being married to the Crown Prince. So in a way, she goes from being a passive person and she becomes an active participant in her own story. She facilitates something in order to get to somewhere else. So in that sense, her trajectory is also really interesting. However, she's not a main focal point in the story, and that's fine. Obviously, the main is Eisenheim and Inspector Uhl, right? Because they're kind of playing this cat and mouse thing of trying to figure out what the other one knows, what the other one's doing kind of thing. Eisenheim needs his plan to go off without a hitch. And Uhl is trying to prevent Eisenheim from succeeding in anything because the Crown Prince wants him ultimately shut down and shut out. What do we think of the Crown Prince? I was going to say priest. Crown Prince Leopold, also wonderfully played by Rufus Sewell, who it's always weird to see him being a good guy. Because
That's the thing. Rufus Sewell?
Yeah.
Rufus Sewell, he's just made to play an unsavory person. There's just something about his face.
Yes.
I guess it's his eyes. I
don't know what it is, but he's so much better in these roles.
I don't see a hero in that face.
No. Agreed.
He should have like some sort of goatee-ish type facial hair, which he does in this movie.
Yes.
And he should just be getting pissed. And he
Yes.
gets pissed a lot in this movie.
Yes.
So yeah, he was excellently cast. He performs the Crown Prince very well. And the thing that's funny is at the very end of it, we get like history on him that he apparently beat a woman so badly that they had to throw her off a cliff to make it look like she committed suicide. He's trying to overthrow his dad. But the thing that's funny is at the very end, when all of this stuff is happening with the investigation of Sophie, he legitimately he's 100% right when he's like, you're all being fooled.
Yes.
You're all being fooled. I am completely innocent of this. And it's just like, we, the audience, are like, don't care.
Yes.
You're getting what you...
Yes.
Fuck you.
Exactly.
Fuck that guy.
Seriously.
I don't care if he's innocent. He's done something.
Yes. And he has.
And he has.
And honestly, if Sophie was going to marry him, she would have had the worst life ever.
Oh, yeah. At best, he would ignore her. At worst, worst, he would be like beating her every night.
Right. He'd turn into like Ramsay Bolton or something.
Yeah, something like that. Exactly.
So it's interesting because his whole downfall is engineered not through violence, not through an overthrowing of a government. It's through sleight of hand, through imagination.
There's no climactic sword fight between Leopold and Eisenheim.
No.
It's all just trickery.
Yeah.
I mean, Eisenheim turns the people against him. Eisenheim, that's the thing that was like very cool about the whole setup that Eisenheim does is he never says a damn thing.
No.
He just sits on that stage and raises his hand, and then a specter appears, and the audience itself fills in the blanks. Like when Sophie appears, it's just like, was it the prince?
Who murdered you?
Yeah, who murdered? Was it the prince? Everybody is just blurting out what they've been like thinking, and now it's sort of like, oh my God, we've got proof now. Her ghost.
Yes.
It's brilliant.
He's very smart. And even that sequence where he's arrested and he's like, well, what do you want me to do to tell the people that this isn't real? And then he goes out on the balcony and he basically gives that speech. And you could see that the people were like, well, he's saying it, but I don't know if I believe that. Right, exactly. I wonder if they're making him say that. And then when he looks back at Uhl has no choice but to let him go because
well, I mean, he's doing it from the balcony of police headquarters.
Exactly.
It's like, of course, we're not going to believe you right now. And the proof is the next day, it's like the audience is packed. So it's not like as though people lost faith. Yeah, it's an excellent story.
Really,
if you were
well
going
done.
to adapt a short story that didn't really have a lot of stuff going on it and you wanted to make it great for the screen, I think Berger and company did a great job as far as expanding the story, adding the romance, adding the political intrigue. And that's like kind of hard. You don't want to like shoehorn stuff. You don't want to make stuff saccharine. You want to keep true to the source material. And I think it really feels like they just nailed it. And I'm glad that this film did well for itself.
Yes.
It was a smaller budget production than, say, The Prestige was.
IMDb, the budget on this was about $16 million. Opening weekend, $927,000 in August of 2006. Again, this was in limited release. This wasn't a big blockbuster film. It wound up grossing a little under $40,000 in the U.S. and Canada, but the worldwide gross on this baby was under $88 million. So that is a really nice return on investment.
Yeah, that was a good summer for magician movies.
Yes.
Because The Prestige is amazing as well.
Yes. And again, a fantastic film. I mean, if I had to choose between the two, I'd obviously choose The Prestige. But this is great in a different way.
It's great in a totally different way.
I mean, I love the world building, the mystery, and the romance of this. And also just like those messages of like subversion and stuff where he uses his intelligence and his smart to kind of get ahead of this guy.
Yeah. Sticking it to the upper crust.
Yeah.
All right. So what would you give this 1 to 10?
You know what? I'm going to give it an 8. I think from where it starts to where it ends, I think it's a good, solid story. I think the performances are all strong. Kudos to Edward Norton, who makes it look effortless here. He does a masterful job portraying Eisenheim. Paul Giamatti, what is there to say? He's a national treasure. I love that guy. Jessica Biel, I think she does a really great job of it. And, of course, Rufus Sewell, who should always be an antagonist in everything he does. I'm going to pigeonhole him right now. Yes, absolutely. An 8 from me. What do you say?
I'd also give it an 8. I really like this movie. Even just watching it after so many years, I was still wrapped up in the story.
Yes.
I really like it. I mean, it's not
and
as
the look
it's
of
not
it
as
is nice too.
It looks, yeah, that was another thing I think I appreciated more this time around was just the look and sort of like the homage that it gave to older films. Like the sepia tone and especially those pinhole wipes, which you never see. I think the last time I saw it was like the original Star Wars. There was a couple of pinhole wipes in there. But yeah, really good. And like I haven't seen it in so long, but I was still wrapped up. It's not going to be as special as the first time because the first time you're sort of along for the ride. You don't know what's going on, but that's true of any film.
Right.
But still, this holds up. I still enjoyed it. G was on the couch when we watched it. I was hoping she was paying attention because it's a good story, and I know she likes that sort of thing.
Yeah, romances, yeah.
So yes, I would also give it an 8.
Very good, very good. So 8, absolutely. Check it out. It's on various platforms, but we caught it on the Hoopla app. Hoopla is through your public library. Support your public library. They're probably in danger of getting funding cut, so anything that we can do to get some attention.
And they got a lot of
That
good
way.
movies there.
They have a ton of good movies. Please do yourself a favor. There is a whole world to see right in your living room. All you have to do is get out your library card. Again, The Illusionist from 2006. It is rated PG-13. This is 1 hour and 50 minutes. Again, it comes to us from director Neil Berger with a script by Neil Berger from Steven Millhauser's short story. If you can watch it, we absolutely recommend this. And again, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And we'll see you all soon with another review. And with that, we will bid you all a
Good night.
support your public library. Good night.